Hey everyone, I don't even know where to begin with this. I've been debating making this video for weeks, months even. Every time I hit record, my stomach drops, my throat closes up, and I just delete it. But I can't keep carrying this anymore. It's eating me alive and I need to get it out. Not just for me, but because, well, you'll understand. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll hate me. I wouldn't blame you. My name is Sarah, and I cheated on my husband with our neighbor. There, I said it. It sounds so dirty, so cheap, and I hate that I'm that person. I really, truly do.
Mark, my husband, is a good man. He is. We've been together for 10 years, married for 7. We have a comfortable life, a beautiful home, and, well, we had a beautiful life. Lately, it's just been routine, predictable. We fell into that rhythm where you're roommates more than lovers. He works hard, I manage the house and my part-time job. We'd watch TV, talk about bills, occasionally go out for dinner. The spark, the passion, it just sort of fizzled out slowly over time. It wasn't his fault, not entirely. It was ours. Both of us stopped nurturing it, and I, being the one to eventually break our vows, bear the ultimate responsibility. Then David moved in next door. A faint smile touches my lips, quickly replaced by a wince of pain.
He was different. He's a few years younger than Mark, incredibly charming, always outside, tinkering with something in his yard or fixing up his place. He'd wave, shout hello, offer to help me carry groceries, small things, innocent things. At first, it was just neighborly kindness, but he had this way of looking at you, like he genuinely saw you, like he was interested in what you had to say. One afternoon, my car wouldn't start. Mark was out of town for a conference, and I was panicking about how I'd get to work the next day. David, bless his soul, heard me struggling in the driveway. He walked over, tools in hand, and spent an hour trying to figure it out. He couldn't fix it then and there, but he drove me to work, insisted on picking me up, and even offered to let me borrow his second car until mine was fixed. That was the first time I felt it. A tiny flutter in my chest. A spark of something I hadn't felt in years. He was attentive, kind. He listened to me vent about my stressful day, about little frustrations with work, with life. And he made me laugh. He just made me feel seen, appreciated. It started subtly. Longer conversations over the fence, sharing a glass of wine on his porch after a long day when Mark was still at work. Text messages that started with asking about my car, then morphed into jokes, observations, just sharing snippets of our days. I'd find myself checking my phone constantly, waiting for his name to pop up. And when it did, a rush, a jolt of pure, forbidden excitement would shoot through me. The thrill of it was intoxicating. It was like I was living a double life. One where I was Sarah, the dutiful wife, and another where I was this other Sarah, who laughed.
Ed Lauder felt more alive, who was desired. Sad, I started taking more care with my appearance, not for Mark, but for David, to catch his eye. And I hated myself for it, even then. Sighs. The guilt was a dull ache, a constant companion that only momentarily faded when I was talking to David. Long pause. Then came the night Mark was away again. Another conference. I was feeling lonely, restless. David texted asking if I wanted to watch a movie. Just neighborly, you know, he wrote unrushed. But my heart knew, my heart was pounding.
I went over, we watched some silly action movie, but we barely paid attention. The air was thick with unspoken things. He kept glancing at me, and I at him. He moved closer on the sofa. His arm brushed mine, electrifying. I could feel the heat radiating off him. We talked, really talked, for hours. About our dreams, our disappointments, things I hadn't shared with Mark in ages. He was so present, so focused on me. And then he touched my hand. Just a light touch, his thumb tracing circles on my skin. And it was over. All my defenses, all my self-control, crumbled. He leaned in, and I didn't pull away. The first kiss was soft, tentative. Then it grew. Desperate, greedy. It was everything I hadn't realized I was craving. The raw passion, the feeling of being utterly consumed by another person. In that moment, the guilt vanished, completely eclipsed by the sheer, overwhelming thrill of it. Of being wanted, desired, devoured. It felt dangerous, exhilarating, forbidden. And for a few fleeting hours, I forgot everything. I forgot Mark. I forgot our life. I forgot who I was supposed to be. The morning after was a blur of conflicting emotions. The adrenaline high of the night before, replaced by a crushing wave of shame and regret. I sneaked back into my house, feeling like a stranger in my own skin. I looked at Mark's picture on the bedside table, and my stomach churned. How could I have done that? How could I have betrayed him, us, like that? But it didn't stop there. That's the insidious thing about infidelity. It's a slippery slope. The thrill of the secret was so addictive. The stolen glances, the hushed phone calls, the quick charged moments when we knew Mark was out. Each time, the guilt grew heavier, a suffocating blanket. But the pull, the sheer intoxicating rush, was too strong to resist. I started living in a constant state of anxiety, always on edge, always looking over my shoulder. My heart would hammer if David's car pulled up when Mark was home. Every time Mark looked at me, I wondered if he knew. Could he see it in my eyes? Could he smell David on my clothes, on my skin, in the air? I became distant with Mark, snappy. Small arguments would erupt because my nerves were constantly frayed. I'd lash out, then feel even more awful because he didn't deserve that. He deserved my honesty, my loyalty, and I was giving him neither. I was giving him lies and a shell of myself. The worst part is seeing the way he looks at me sometimes, with love, with trust, and I know I've shattered that trust, even if he doesn't know it yet. I look at him and I just see this good man who is utterly oblivious to the hurricane I've brought into our lives, into our home. I stopped seeing David last week. I couldn't do it anymore. The guilt became unbearable. It wasn't worth it. The thrill, as intoxicating as it was, eventually became a bitter poison. It eroded my sense of self, my peace, everything. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back. A woman who was capable of such deception. A woman who lived with such a terrible secret. I don't know what to do now. Do I tell Mark? How do I even begin to tell him? How do you look the person you swore to love and cherish in the eyes and confess to such a profound betrayal? What if he leaves me? What if I lose everything? And what if I don't tell him and this secret becomes a permanent, festering wound in my soul? It's already destroying me from the inside out. I needed to say it. To get it out into the universe, to acknowledge the terrible thing I did. I'm not asking for sympathy. I know I messed up, royally. I need to figure out how to live with myself, how to somehow, maybe, find a way to make amends, even if it starts with this messy, public confession to a camera. If anyone has any advice, any words, please, just tell me what to do. Thank you for listening.